All right. I would like to welcome everybody to this session, and this session is planned to be for 2 weekends. Yes, it's something that we can actually do in one day, but I just want a better understanding. And if it happens that we are unable to cover in our curriculum, yes, there's a course outline within the 2 weekends. We might need to extend it because I want everybody to get every bit from this section. As we move on, we're going to be having this class supposed to schedule within the time of 10 a.m. right now, 10 a.m. to like probably 1 maximum. Yes, I don't want you guys to get too tired. Maximum 1. And in between the class, we might have some time like 10 minutes. Yes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes. Yes, to just stand up, unwind, crunch something, take water. Some of you are working in agency. Some of you still work on some project over the weekend. Quickly attend to that call that you have been on the muted. Please, at this time, don't allow anything to distract you. Like I've shut down all my device. Yes, it's very important that you don't allow anything to distract you. So that is one of the reasons why I'm going to be giving those times, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to attend to some stuff. Maximum I think 10 minutes is okay in between the class. So general overview for the fact that you might be watching this later. Yes, my name again, all the faces here that are friends, they are people of the house that I know you guys for a very long time, way back. Yes, my name is Sheyi Omotunde once again for the record, and I'm the founder of Software of Digital Solution, cut across web hosting, IT solutions, and digital marketing. I have 7 Facebook certification. I still want to do more. Yeah, I still want to do more. But at this time, I have 7 Meta. Sorry, it's not yet the way it is. Meta Blueprint certification, right? I know some of you already have some, and in the course of this training, this week and next week, and like I said, should the case we didn't finish our curriculum, we might need to move on. And after the class, that's not the end. Yes, that group will be a support group for each and every one of us, right? So these are the things, these are outlined. Last week, I tried to move on through the overview. So I'm not going to stress that too much again. Yes, I'm just going to do a kind of quick recap, but I'm not going to stress that so that we can get into the main stuff for today. And that is why you are all on that free section, which is generally the overview. Because most time when we talk about media planning, a lot of people don't really know what it is. But that overview is actually meant to be an eye opener to know some of those things that you don't really talk about when it's come to media planning, right? So we are going to get started with spreadsheets for media planning because I still don't want to assume that every one of us have been using Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. Yes, in most cases, especially when you're working offsite, you are working remotely, you are going to be using Google Sheets. So I do that a lot. Yes, especially sometimes you might need to have some other people to collaborate with you on the sheet, maybe a traditional media planner. Yes, I want to have his own sheet and everybody are working together. So we are going to be doing that. So I will be using Google Sheet or Excel sheet. It's the same way. So that's one of the things we are going to be working on. And I don't want to assume that each and every one of us can work with Microsoft Excel very well. So we are going to talk about stuff like that. Then some tips, some best practice, some things that you should anticipate even in dealing with clients. Yes, because you're going to be working as a media planner, you're going to be working with so many departments, people from strategy, people from content. Yes. So all those things, we are going to talk about that. And they are very, very important. If you don't take those things, this is me putting my experience. This is me putting things that look like the challenges, yes, into documentation. Yeah. So that when it comes, it's not going to be strange. When it comes, you also know how to even make sure that it doesn't come as well, like a way of navigating that stage in your media planning. Then, most importantly, among everything in all the outline that we're going to be talking about is this number 4, which is how to create media plan from strategy document. There are different media plan, digital media plan from my experience. There are some that even clients, they don't need much information. There are some that some clients have so much details already, so they want number for everything. So I'm going to show you best of both worlds. If there's some minimal, there's some advanced, and there's some overflog. Yes, that's the way I'll call it, overflogged. They just want bit of everything. Yeah. So I'm going to show you some of those typical examples when we get to case study. But most importantly, anytime we might treat more than 2, 3, 4 as the case may be. And if any one of you have a strategy document that you have at hand, maybe the one you have worked with before, maybe the one that maybe you are the one that created it. I think I'm aware that some people have worked with strategy department, some people have worked in communication. So if you have that, you can still send it to me on the WhatsApp or my email so that we can treat it. Yes, I don't just want to be say, okay, this is what I worked on. I want it to be spontaneous, things that I've never worked on. Do you understand? So when I get to case study, I cannot share of what I've worked on. So if any one of you have a strategy document with you, you can take time during the break. Yes, we're going to have a short break, like 10 minutes, to get it across to me so that we can use it by the time we get there. But it's still very important for us to get to know things that we have ahead of us, right? Then clarity in budgeting from strategy. So you will need to do all that, yes, so that we know that our strategy documents and media plan are aligned with what is being stated in strategy documents. So this might take more than 1 or 2 times to still take a look at it. Because one crazy thing about strategy document is if the strategy people, the content people said we want to do A, B, C, D. If you, as a planner, you now take into consideration only A, B, where is the budget for the C is going to come up from? That is part of clarity. So you need to be very, very taking attention, pay attention to every little thing. It's very important. If not, you might put yourself in trouble. Yeah. Then working with clear KPIs is also very important to know what are the KPIs. Yes. Don't assume because you are a planner. Yes. Don't assume that this is what should be. They might have another thing. Listen to the third party. Listen to them as well. Get to know the content, the strategy document. The client say you are not the one that interface with the client, mind you. So the people that interface with the client, even before the client send the brief, they already say the client told them that this is our KPIs. So irrespective of every other KPIs you might be able to meet up along the line, the client KPIs is very important, meaning the client KPIs are the primary. So every other thing can come in after that. So working with the KPIs, that's very important. The measurement analytics. So as a media planner, some of you, because of the kind of environment we find ourselves, some of you might even double as a media buyers. Yes. So, but mind you, this class is not for media buying. Yes, when there's time come for that, work on that. But this time is not for media buying. I thought of it, but I just look at it as it's not things that we can combine together. That would be two crazy things to do together at the same time. So some of you might double with that. So you should also have how the report analytics should be in. So they might request you that, where's the reports? Yeah. So how do you go about stuff like that? And I'll be able to show you some of the sample stuff that I've done. Some of you, they might even tell you, the client might come with some stuff that are very, very number inclined. And the whole team will just result that, maybe you are the planner. You should be able to help up with this. And it's a complaint. You want to take that. So how do you work with stuff like that? Yeah, measurement is very important. Then marketing science. Yes, marketing science is very important. It's part of adding number to marketing. Then how you also begin to keep, some of you are running a lot of ads right now, but you don't know how important those data you have. You should be able to have maybe like Excel sheets or a table or whatever document where every time you run ads, yes, I know you guys run ads, even whatever, even on 400, 1 million, 2 million, whatever it is. Anytime you run ads, keep the result of those ads. Stay glued to those numbers so that anytime you are preparing your strategy document, media planning, it's very easy for you to pick at least an average. Yeah, you might not be so certain, but you'll be able to pick average of, okay, if you are going for a lead, if you are doing website traffic, if you optimize for click, the average might be a 14 naira. That is less than 30 cents. Yeah, 14 naira. Then again, this depends on the country you are working in. So the charges for this media platform, Facebook and the rest, Google, all of that, it's a bit cheaper. In fact, it's not a bit, it's a more cheaper in Africa from experience. Very, very more cheaper in Africa. It's more expensive in other. So this media company, they also do this based on first world, second world, third world, like underdeveloped countries and developed countries. So it's not just as an assumption like that. So for example, just like even Facebook examination as well, exam certification, it's much cheaper in Africa than US and UK. So stuff like that. So how do you do things like that? Then case studies, yes, I'm going to bring out some case studies, some of which we might have talked about. We might not have talked about it as a sort of creating media planning. We are going to talk about that. And apart from case study, each and every one of you, I'm going to give you a task. Yes, that could be like minimum of 3 strategy documents. Yes, minimum. Let's say 2 or 3 strategy documents in which you are going to actually come up with a media plan. Luckily, if I have like a project at hand, I can also give it to you to just take it to brush. And after you do that, personally, one-on-one, okay, we can do it as a team so that everybody will learn, because this could be from different fields. We can do it together. So we are going to present, we're going to have a meeting like this. Everybody is going to see it and we learn from that as well. So basically, this is the rundown of things that we are going to talk about. Yes. I think Adedola is out. What is going on? All right. Okay. So getting started, overview, like I said, we have talked so much about the overview in our first class, which was last week, Saturday, and I'm not going to dwell on that again. So I'm just going to do a kind of quick recap. So quick recap is just to let you know that media planning, digital media plan, is a roadmap. Okay, it's giving direction to your advertising campaign, giving direction. So after you have all the direction in visual, in creatives, any kinds of creative, in strategy, in tactics, whatever it is, you have all those in strategy document. So you as a media planner is going to break that down into what are the different media platform, what are the numbers, what are the budgets, what are you going to measure in each of these media platform with the tools like Excel and others, as the case may be, right? That is just a recap on that. And I said your best tools is going to be usually be in Excel, where you're going to be having those channels and analyze your reports. And I also tell you that most time as a media plan, during the presentation, maybe while your team is presenting to a client, you might be called up. In fact, anyway, most times I've been called upon. Yes, I've always been called upon. So I don't know, except if the person is that is presenting can analyze data, can present the data very well, yes, to the client, you might not be. But in most cases that I've seen, I end up being the one to present that part. So you should also get ready for that. So that is just a quick recap on the day one, which we had last week. So this is going to be our first part this morning. And this is going to be spreadsheet for media planning. So I'm quickly going to open Microsoft Excel sheet. We're going to brush up some things. But before we go into that, I would like to know how many of us are highly proficient when it comes to Microsoft Excel. So is that Microsoft Excel, Google Sheet, like, maybe you have been working with things with data analytics before and you are highly proficient with Microsoft Excel, you have been doing some kind of things, that's going to be an added advantage for you in handling this. So I would like to hear from everybody. I'm not going to be talking to myself. I will start from Samuel. Are you proficient with Excel? That doesn't mean I'm not going to touch it. I just want to know the level each and every one of us. You can categorize yourself as a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So beginner, you can do some basic things. Intermediate, you can do some analytics. Advanced, you can do some other advanced stuff like lookup, pivot table, and the rest. Yes, we are not going to need all those things, but it's good working around the Excel and that. So Samuel, Khadija, Afolabi, Adetola. Yep. I'll make you to able to unmute yourself. So I want to hear from you. So I want to know how provisions are we when it comes to spreadsheets. Yep. And you can just categorize yourself, not to waste more of our time, by saying beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Yep.
I think for me it's intermediate.
Okay, intermediate. Okay, thank you. Khadijat, I can see that too. Intermediate. Afolabi. Okay. Adetola, beginner. Afolabi, beginner. So this simply means we have two intermediates, we have two beginners. Okay, you're taking a course on it. That's very important. Okay, so with this, we definitely need to go back to that so I can just touch some certain things. It's actually some little things, but they're going to be highly important in working as a media planner. So that you're able to navigate yourself around this. So quickly, I'm going to get out of my slide. We go to the Excel. We walk through that. Yes, that is not going to necessarily be a media plan like that, but we're just going to walk through that. I need to show you some examples, and we take a break and we come back. Like I said, our break is not going to be a longer break. Our break is just going to be like 10 minutes max, 10 minutes max. Maybe you want to use the restroom, do something very fast, quickly make that call, all that. So we do that. So I'm getting set to share my Microsoft Excel right now. So here we are. I believe you can all see my screen right now. Yeah, let me know if you can see my Microsoft Excel screen. Yes, this should be. Can we all see this? Can we all see the screen? Hello? Okay, good. I've seen that on the chat box. Thank you, thank you. All right, so let's move on. So this is one of your number one plug when it's come to preparing media plan. It's not just your number one plug. It's very, very important tools for everyone, irrespective of anywhere you're working. It's going to save you a lot of things, basically. That's it. So Excel's spreadsheet, basically, I'm going to be calling it spreadsheet going forward. I'm not going to be saying Excel to be precise. Spreadsheet, because this could be Google spreadsheet, could be anyone, right? So spreadsheets basically consists of columns and rows. Yes, which I know even a beginner will know that. This is column and this is rows. On the columns, we have alphabets. On the rows, we have numbers. Yes, this is our sheet. So on this sheet here, basically, when it comes to media planning, your first sheet here should be summary. Yep, summary. So just the same way I put it. So you can have as many as possible sheets in one document. So you can save this. Let me even save this. So I just call this media plan class. Yes, media plan class, media planning class. So your first sheet should be a summary, which is very important, meaning at the end of, irrespective of different stages, phases, as is used to called in the strategy document, you need to have, sometimes you have different stages of campaign levels, right? So let's say, generally, I'm just generally, some agencies don't even like using this again from from my experience. They'll say, Shay, please, we don't want anything like awareness, consideration, and conversion. So we call it something else. We don't just, there's some agencies that work with that, they don't want generic name again. So we just give it something based on what is, we give it name based on what is on strategy documents, right? But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to call this consideration, right? So basically like a customer journey. This is not called a consideration. Okay, so I'm just trying to show you this is how you name some sheet, name a convection. let's say conversion, something like sustenance. Yep, maybe stuff like this. So it's very important. Most of the decision makers, because they don't have all that time, so they might not want to, after maybe some other board member or people that are actually the top in the client side have listened to your presentation on the analytics and they take it to the board member. This is why the summary is very important. So they might not have all that time to look at all this before they make decision. So they come to the summary. So summary is going to be a kind of summary of the what's this going to cost in this level, what's this going to cost, this level, what's this going to cost, and what's this going to cost. So I'm going to be doing it as if we are preparing media plan, and so that you can start visualizing how the structure can be. So when you have this, so I've talked about this column, this is rows. For example, right now, maybe you have clients, client name, right? Maybe you have project, okay? Maybe you have, very important, exchange rate. We all know what dollar is saying right now. Exchange rate as at particular date. So date is very important. From experience, you might do some presentation now and it might take 6 months before the client will call back and say, hey, we want to take on this project now. I'm like, what? You might even think that, oh, what is this one? We are not doing it again. So mostly, again, I usually do one and I will duplicate the, so for example, if I right click this now, so if I finish the structure of one, I'll just duplicate it. So I can just do the duplicate by, say, make a copy. So that, but again, I just want to make sure that we are on the same page with this, right? So instead of what I'm doing now, I usually duplicate this, and we are going to learn stuff like that too. So it's very important to know formats. Basically, when you have your formats, it becomes easy. So you know direction of, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, 1, 2, 3, right? Then on your summary here, so on your summary here, you are still going to have this, apart from having this, so you can have platform, right? Platforms. This could be Facebook. Please, at any point in time, don't add Facebook and Instagram together, please. Yes, they are all owned by Metas, but usually they have different budgets. Please don't do that. Facebook, Instagram, even Google. Don't add, Google has different platforms. Don't say so. Google Display Network, separate it. If you search, separate it, right? If you search, separate it. Don't just put everything together and say Google. Now, YouTube, separate it. LinkedIn, separate it. LinkedIn, separate it. Programmatic, maybe skimming or whatever it is, separate it. Influencers, separate it. Then sometimes you might be in a department whereby you might be the one that will collate everything. So things like production, like content production, every other things can come in here. But again, I cannot, the list is actually endless. Yes, the list is endless. I cannot list all that, but I just want you to have a basic clue of how this is. Yes, the list is endless. That's the point. So I can have this. Now I have this. Right. So good. So so I can say budget. So depending on the KPIs that you're measuring, so you can say impression, depends, like I said, impression, reach, click, it depends. Conversion, no, let me do lead first. Leads, conversion, these are metrics. So it depends on what you're actually measuring. So I don't just want to be using Excel for Excel's sake. I want you to begin to see the clarity, the structure, because once you know the structure, when you have any project, it's very easy for you to know, okay, I need this is like a template. I can quickly start putting in things, then you can just be duplicating like that. I'm going to show you some of my templates as well. And after this, let's say at the end of everything here, you can say, what do you call it? Planned, okay, so like VAT, yes, VAT, yes, let's say 5%. Maybe charges, media plan, yes, media plans, that is depend, maybe 10% of ad budget, yes, maybe 10% of ad budget. So you can have stuff like this. So where are you going to get all this data? All these data are going to come from different source from all the sheets. So it's not that at the end of the day, you just manufacture it. No. So this conversion now is going to come from whatever the conversion rate or conversion numbers are. This leads to come with whatever other on consideration we have. Clicks, maybe we are running traffics. So we might not be using all this in most of the time, but I'm just trying to use put that here. Impression, so whatever the number of impression is, you're going to have it here, but all these are going to be coming from this other extra sheet. Then reach as well. Then whatever we have at the total budgets are going to be budget for each of the platform that will be showing here. Then at the end of the day, we have what we call grand total. Right. So I want you to begin to visualize, let's say the name of the client is ABCD, right? ABCD INC, right? And the project could be, let's say, conference. Yes, maybe they're having a virtual conference that they want to have 30,000 people in attendance. Yep, yes, that could be. So exchange rates, let's say as of today to Naira, dollar exchange rate 589. Yes, then you have to put the date there. So this date, as simple as it is, it's very, very important because as at the date that you are sending this, exchange rate is this. But by the time they are ready with the project, exchange rate might have already be 650. So that this will have to change by the time you want to take on the project. So it's very important so that they not say, oh, but you gave us this. No, as at that date. As at that date. But as at now, it has changed. So these are a little structure of how your summary will be. And here now, so you can now have different platforms like let's say, so I can say so this way you can do this like Google, can have Google, right? You can have social, depend on what your strategy document is saying. You can have social. I'm trying to just give this guy some color that are not the same. You have Google, you have social. These are like headings, right? You have direct buying, depend on what you have. Yes, direct buy. I will explain. Yes. And if there's anything, I'll be looking at the chart. I'm also going to be looking at if you are raising up your hand for anything. Direct buying, let's say PR, depend. Yes, depend. But I'm trying to come up with as many as possible elements that you'll be working with most times. Influencers, yes, influencers, right? Trying to come up with as much as possible edit. Then you can also have what we call programmatics. So depend on different programmatic platform you're working on, but most cases in this client, a lot of people use Eskimi. Yep. So here now you have stuff like this. So under this Google here now, if in your strategy documents, there's things that about search ad, you put it there. Display network, so you can just say display or you say GDN, right? Yes, or GDN. You can just do stuff like that. I don't like the way I type this search, right? You can have like that. So on social, these are just like heading. You can have Facebook, um, Facebook, Instagram. Depends again what the uh what do you call it, strategy document said. Instagram, LinkedIn. So let's say these are just that. So let me deliberately add one. Let's say Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, depend. So now at the end of everything here, we'll have what we call subtotal, right? Subtotal. So this subtotal here, I can give this guy red, right? So here now, you should have subtotal. Let's assume that you now have enter everything here. So majorly simply means you need another space here. So you can just right click this guy here and insert on exactly where you want it, which is number 15. I mean, so where we want is supposed to be number 15. So it's on number 15 that will highlight, not on the one that will just click insert. So it gives us that space and we say sub total for this guy too, right? So on direct buy can be pause ng, direct buy can be Bella Niger, direct buy can be could be Ninda, and so on, right? I'm just trying to give you an idea of what it is. A lot of you have an idea of what this is, but again, I don't want to assume anything because other people might want to watch this later at any point in time. I don't know yet. So you have this. So PR, let's say Vanguard, Punch, maybe editorial, whatever it is. Punch, and the rest. Punch, let me add one more. This is not correct. It's not Punch. Punch, and these days. Yep. Subtotal, right? Here again, maybe as part of your stuff, Niger brand chicks, maybe macaroni, tahoma. All these are just basically example. Subtotal. Okay, maybe Eskimi. Subtotal. So in most cases, you might not have to use all these, but I just want you to know things that you should anticipate and how you are going to do your sheet. Then here we can have let's say VAT, VAT, I think it's 7.5, whatever it is now, 1.5%. Then charges, that is add charges, maybe depend on the negotiation with the customer. Then so here we can have total, then we have grand total. We have grand total. So this is a very typical example of how this looks like. Yes, very typical example of how this should look like. Most cases you might not have all, but that's just a typical example. So Here we can have things like buying type, right? Buying type. Yes, we can have format. Yes, so we can have what we call impression, reach. So some people use engagement or interaction. It's the same thing. Yeah, I just found out that people don't want to be using general stuff again. Interaction, uh, percentage of interaction. That's engagement, percentage of engagement. Uh, let's say audience, audience size. So on this audience size, uh, based on your strategy document, you are going to have what we call age brackets of those. So let's say your strategy document say age bracket is 25. This is an example to 35. Yes, so yes, to 35. So you know that. Uh, mm, so you also have percentage of reach, percentage of reach. Don't worry again, I'm also going to give you template, my template, my proven template that I'll be using. So you might not take stress to do all this, but it's very important to at least have an idea, picture it, how you can do it. So even if you find yourself on all spots, yes, it happens sometimes, all spots, you can come up with things, even maybe in interview, or they say, okay, design your own. Like, you can't just use your template. So you can just you'll be able to come up with uh, stuff like this based on the knowledge, based on the format that you have been using. So that is why I had to do this, right? So you can just double click to give this more space. You can just double click instead of dragging. Yes, but it has to be there, right? So we have this percentage of reach, then frequency. Frequency, like I said, there's some client that you might not even do all this. So I'm going to give you some of those examples. There's some that is even like rush hour show. But yes, they're still going to have their data, but might not be as comprehensive as this. So now I have let's say amount. That's like budget. But let's say just cost. So you can say cost in naira, cost in dollar or any other currency. It could be in dollar, it could be in pounds, it could be in depend on, because some of you might end up working in might end up working as a remote, whatever it is, right? So I'm not just going to assume and use only naira. So we can have cost in naira, total cost in dollars, right? So this has not complete yet. So when we have this impression, we have all this. So I want to just take the opportunity to make use of adding column like this. So I can right click here, I can insert, yep, I can insert, yes, and I can insert another one. So here now I can have, so maybe CPC, CPM, CPL. So different, so let's say you have 5 metrics. So you can just put all those metrics based on what you have here, so that when someone look up, because you cannot be putting each of the metrics per each cell. No, you cannot do that. So you can say CPC, CPM, CPL, and every other order. So you can also say units, and this units again, no, sorry, cost is better. Cost, you're going to have this cost in both currency. Cost in naira, I've never used this ampersand before, so it looked funny. So you have cost in naira and also costs in dollars. Yes, this is a very typical example of how your media plan sheet will look like on Excel. This is just a very typical example. And as you progress again, you are going to see how this is. So here now, let me quickly explain this. Yes, here now, the buying type. So the buying type here, you can say this could be search, it could be reach, like that. It could be CPM. Yeah, right. Yes, it could be so stuff like that. Buying type. So you can have this buying types, search, display. So this one like display. I just want it to as possible as possible. Okay, search. So on awareness, so even on Facebook, you might have the customer journey of this awareness, consideration, and conversion. So remember, you are on awareness tab. So on awareness tab, what you are going to be measuring is different for what you are going to be measuring here. What you are going to be measuring here is different for what you are going to be measuring here. And that is why here you put all this, everything that you're going to be measuring. So irrespective of any slide, so it simply means that's what you're measuring at that point, right? So that is very, very important. So this awareness level, this could be rich. This could be rich too. Rich, yes, that could be what it is. Yes, that could be rich. So here on direct buying, so most of these people, they do impression and reach. Yes, that's most things that they can give you from their platform. So as time goes on, you will need to check each of these platform. They used to have those data to know how many data they have for that. So here now the format could be image. Yes, no, sorry, definitely this is text. This could be image, right? I didn't put YouTube there, so if you have video, you put YouTube there. So this could be video, right? So depends. So I'm just trying to check so that you get an idea of what this is. This could be banner, right? And in putting the banner, especially when it comes to all these direct and PR here, it's also important to know the size of banner. It could be 250 by 250, right? Yeah, this could be editorial or press release, anyone, right? So I'm just trying to be as realistic as possible. So it could be any one of this. Could be press release, editorial, and all that. Yes. Okay. Most of these people, you might not be able to measure their stuff. You can just measure them by their what do you call it, their followers. But some of them will give you data that from maybe from their YouTube, their Instagram, or Facebook analytics. Yep. So then in dealing with these people, don't DM them. Yes, if you DM them, you might not get response on time, and you need their data, their cost to help you to come up with your budget. So what you need to do is want to get to their bio, you see the email. It's their managers that usually answer the email. So managers, it's managers work. Yes, their managers immediately, almost immediately from my experience, maximum 24 hours, they will reply you. Yes, so just mail. Don't send DM. You are wasting your time if you send a DM for most of these people, but they do more with email, just so you can have their data. So this could be awareness too. Yes, it's actually awareness, not could be awareness. Yes. So it's very important that you do all this. Programmatic, this could be rich, and so on. So you see how the format is coming up. So I'm not going to enter data on all this, but I'm just quickly going to explain it in this section before we move on to the next section. After I explain this, we take a short break of 10 minutes and we come. I don't just want to have a long stretch. No, I don't want us to do that. So just have like 10 minutes and I'll come. So, but let me quickly explain this. So, you know that without the budget, the cost, you cannot know the number of impression. You can determine, okay, for the search, you can determine this is CPM. Yes. Most of your this thing will measure CPM. Yeah, depend on what it is. Yes. So especially for the fact that these guys are awareness, right? So these are just like impression. So as a matter of that, this might look like duplication since we are doing this, but this is just the abbreviation of what it is. But we need this guy. Yes, we need it. We need this guy to actually no. Okay, good. I'm not want to replace now. So we need this guy to actually tell us the kind of metrics we are measuring. This one, yeah, all these guys are impression. Yes. And we are having all this impression for the fact that look at our tab, awareness. That is why we are having all this because it's awareness stage. So by the time we get to maybe consideration, we might be having CPC, CPL. I hope you are getting it. Yes, so it depends on, so this is knowing what particular thing you want to measure at every stage is very, very important. And being on the same page with the team is also very important. So from your experience, for example, now what I do most times, I go to the dashboard of maybe Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, programmatic or whatever. So what I do with programmatic most time, I'm going to give you the number too. I have some of those guys' numbers. So I just put a call through or WhatsApp and I ask them, okay, my clients need 1 million impression in a month. Yes, 1 million impression. So please give me the code, how many reach I'm going to, so they're going to be able to send you that. Okay, 1 million impression is going to cost you 350,000 naira and you're going to have 750 reach. Then the reach is going to be based on frequency. Yes. Yes. So they will ask you how many frequency. That's basically 3 frequencies. Okay. Yeah, frequency. I'm getting that there. So I'm still going to explain that. So I get this and I just feel that. So you get the data, the number of impression and all that exact data from SQL most times. Yes, I have some numbers that I can call and they give all those, and those are the things that make your work faster, right? So for the Instagram and Facebook, all you just have to do is check your current ads manager. So from current ad manager, so you see an average. You cannot have exact, basically. You see an average of what 1,000 impression is usually is. So on the cost here, so what you actually do is 1,000 impression cost. Yes, that's what I'm going to put here. 1,000 impressions. So sometimes 1,000 impression depend on the industry too. For banking, it can be like 800. From agric can be like I'm talking about that right now. That's like maybe 1.6 or 1.5. For agri can be like 1.2. That's like maybe 600 naira or 700. For real estate and hospitality, it might be a bit too high. Yes, for real estate and hospitality, it might be a bit high. Can be going up to maybe 1,002. Yes, Yes, can be going out. So you get all those data. Then I said it in our first section that most times, maybe because they have not been putting this, and many of you on this training might end up being the first person that will ever do this in the organization you are going to work with, if you are going to work that. So that simply means you need to actually experiment, like you let the team know that we don't have this data. The only way we can have the data is to start running ads. So by the time we run 1, 2, 3 months kind of ad, you have a data. From that data, you could begin to make a decision, because these data are varies based on the industry. And I bet you, if you try to go online to go and search, okay, yeah, I did all that, but no, it's not really the correct stuff. If you go online to go and check benchmark for CPC benchmark for Google, CPC benchmark for Facebook, you will see all kinds that might not be accurate. Yep. So, but working with your own native, your own data is going to be the best way to do that. For example, now, I could say if I'm running a traffic ad to your website, maybe to a website visitor, or um, to even make yes, a first time visitor, basically. If I'm running traffic that is clicking out of Facebook, basically, I can get for as low as 8 naira, but I will not put it as 8 naira. Do you know why? Because over the time, what I've been having most time per click, it's usually within 8 naira or 14 naira. So if I'm running on auction ads, yes, I'm running on auction ads, and I've choose some kind of audience that's very closely similar to the kind of audience that I've been using on other campaign on the same ads manager, it can even double, like 14 times 228. So in that case, so if I want to run that ad, in that case, I didn't even have anything traffic here. But let me just assume I didn't have anything traffic here. Let me just assume. In that case, what I would do, instead of say 14 naira, in my strategy document, I would just pick an average, not 20, it would just be 25. So what does that mean? So 25 naira. So this means the ads might start at, most times to start very high. For some of you that have been looking at that. So that's why I say sometimes you might want to double, but I'm not saying you should double, but you need to know those data from the buying dashboard so that you know what to do with your media plan. So in most cases, my traffic that I've been having is 14, 17, 14, 17. So if I want to do it on media plan, I will not put 14 and I will not put 17. That have been consistent for me in the last 6 months. Yes, but I'm not going to put that 14 because anything could happen. So I'm going to put like 25 years to be on the safe side. So how will I calculate this now? So in dollar, I will just say 25 divided by whatever I said the exchange rate is. Oh, I don't have exchange rate here. So let me do that first. So 589, right? 589. So I can set 589. Yeah, you can see that. So I can round this off that 0.042. So this is how I will get this guy. Then the reach. Yeah, the reach. So I will get the impression first. So how do I get the impression? Remember what we have here? Yes, what we have here? We have this guy here, A25. So if it is Facebook, if it is, there's these tools on Google called Reach Planner. So from Reach Planner, you can put the age brackets that you have, the location, all those things that have been specified in from strategy document that, our audience persona is this. You put it there. So you'll be able to get the number of impression. Yes. You'll be able to get the number of impression, right? So let's say on Facebook, based on the age bracket, is 15 million that I could be able to reach, right? I'm just making this as an example. So this is not 15 million. 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So this is it on Facebook. I'm just trying to use this to explain this. I'm not even working this right now. So you have this for you to get, then definitely you also need to have your reach. So you have, so if the striking government say we are following the frequency of 3, meaning within the campaign period, how many times this ad is going to serve for an individual, right? So if this ad is serving like 3 times, so what you just have to do is for your reach is just to say your impression divided by reach. So what do I do here? Equals to impression divided by your reach. Can you see that? Right? So if it is 2, if it is 1, right, that's how you get your this. Then at a point in time, we are still going to visit Ads Manager, some data to actually justify all this, because it's very important that you have all these numbers and how to calculate all these metrics at your fingertips. So it's very, very, very important. So you could also get, okay, what is your audience, the percentage of reach that you want to reach. Do you understand? The percentage of reach, engagement, interaction. Then it's very easy to get the total cost. Total cost is when you multiply this with how many you want to reach. You have your total cost both in Naira. How do I mean? Multiply this, multiply by number. So you multiply this by this, you have the Naira, as a cost in Naira. You have the Naira, then cost in dollar, you have the dollar. And at the end of, you have sub for everything. At the end of the day, you have the abbreviation. So this is just some little things first. But like I said, I don't just want to use Excel. I say, oh, we want to total, oh, we want to calculate average, we want to do that. I want you to actually starting visualizing the kind of things that you are going to be working on. As a matter of fact, it has happened one time that I'm not going to mention the financial institution. They have like 4.5 million customers, yes, and they want to increase that to, with Generation C, they want to increase that to like 10 million. They have like 6 months to do that. So from strategy, they find out that they need to actually make a lot of noise more on social media and all that. So they actually want to increase their followers too. That once they increase their follower, they will be able to also decrease some the account opening as well. So this now brings out to, in each of the platform, how much is it going to cost them to acquire a 1 million subscriber? How much is it going to cost them to acquire 2 million subscribers? So it's your work as a media planner to get that, to actually work on that. So, and for you to work on that, it simply means you need to first of all get how much is going to cost you per follower on Instagram, like on Facebook, followers on LinkedIn. Yes, because that's why that they said they want a social number. It's not just within one demographic. So you have different economic class as well. So based on economic class, you know the number of budgets I want to do people on LinkedIn and all that. Because of the past data, I was able to do that because of the past data. So without data, I cannot do that. Yes, I was able to do that because of that data. It's only Twitter that are able to give me exact cost for one follower. Every other platform doesn't exist. I chatted with Google, I chatted with Facebook. Despite the fact that I have so many people, I started with Facebook, so there's no benchmark. So I have to work with my data. I have to work with, so that is why it's very, very important as you're starting. Every ads that have been run on the dashboard before, it's very important that you keep pay attention to those data, because those are the things that are going to help you to predict and forecast going forward. Before we move on, we're still going to have one more session on Excel, but I just say, instead of saying add this, plus this, analyze this, let me just do a kind of a typical structure of what we should be looking at before we move on. I would like to know at this point if there's any question before we go on break. So this is using Excel to actually create a media plan, but this is not a media plan, right? This is just like a template. Yeah, template, but this is not a media plan. It's a template. So by the time we're going to create the media plan itself, we are going to have our strategy document. We are going to extract our information out from the strategy document, and based on different phases, can you see? So this could be phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, stage 1, stage 2, sustenance, retainance, whatever it is, based on the information on the strategy document, we are going to use that to create our media plan. But instead of me just saying, this is how to total, this is what to adjust, I want us to focus on basic things that we actually need. So I would like to know if there's any question before we go on break. And when we are back in our 10 minutes breaks, I'm going to actually, again, quickly brush through some other things that doesn't have anything to do with their plan. Tools that could help us work fast, tools that could help us edit some things, adjust, and do some other things within Excel in the next 10. This is just 11 minutes after, 10 minutes after 11. Any question before we go on that? Any question? Hope it's clear so far. Hope you are getting value, you are getting to understand, you are getting to visualize what is ahead of you. I need to know. Any questions, guys? If there's no question, you can talk. You can also type
None
no on
from
the
my
chat
end,
box.
no.
Okay, no from Samuel. Khadija?
No, none from me, Mr. Shea.
Okay.
None from me.
None, none
Okay.
for now.
Afolabi? Okay,
None,
good.
none from me as well.
Okay, so we will get back immediately 11 minutes after 11 a.m. So let's just take a little break, guys. So I see you with same link. Yes, get back. Thank you.
It's 11:11 already.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. 11:21. Sorry.
Okay.
11:21. Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
All right.
11:21. So you can just eat yourself, take water, crunch biscuits, popcorn, whatever.